Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 10 of Let's Play Pillars of Eternity. I do not know why I failed that. But anyway, in the last part, Aldwyn and his companions found themselves finding out the truth of why, what happened, or what conspired in the temple. I mean, it could say, I think conspired works. And they went and righted it. Now we're going to go find ourselves, well, see what we can around the village and... well, before we leave on the quest for the Old Watcher, and we do some, obviously some of these side quests and whatnot. First things first, we're going to go in this house, because the game said we can, and, I mean, if the game says I can, I'm going to fucking go in it, aren't I? This man and woman appear to have been deep in conversation, working at closing two bulging satchels. They move to embrace until the woman notices your approach and pauses, her smile faltering a little.
Hail and well met.
Can we help you? She looks to her companion, brows furrowing with confusion. Do you know this man, Nonton? Nonton shakes his head. I don't believe so. Was there something you wanted? That cloak. I've seen it before. You killed that man in the cave. Are you accusing him of something? Ignored looks to Nonton, touching his arm. Oh, Ingrid touches it. Wow. If this is about the accident, we're both grieving Parley's loss, but it is a wild animal's doing. Nonton shakes his head minutely. You seem to tremble in his hands. What would make you suggest such a thing? I had a vision in the cave. I saw Parley's last moments, as he lived them. I saw you cut him with a knife. That's not possible. Nonton stares at you. How could you possibly know? His hands fall to his sword belt. I left no sign. Nonton, wait. Ingrid raises a hand. I don't know what you saw in that cave, but this isn't something what you think. Pearly, my husband, he was much as beast as that bear. I tried to leave him the first time I suffered his temper, but he wouldn't have it. She looks away, expression pained. Nonton, we met, and I knew I'd found someone special, someone kind, who cared for me. Please, all we want is to leave this place, to start somewhere else. She looks down at her satchel. We've some coins saved up. You could have it if you only let us go. I mean, I don't really know why he would do in this situation. He didn't suffer a loss. You know what? I think there's no reason to get involved. Just keep the money. Use it to start a new life. She blinks, surprised. Then, thank you, truly. I'm glad you understand. Only here. Take this, at least. I hope it brings you luck. She looks at Nonton, smiling. We have a long journey ahead of us. You gain the item, minor ring of deflection. I wish you well on your own travel, stranger. We won't forget this. Hey, we got a level 3 fighter now. Well, 2 level 3 fighters. I think it was time you got some mechanic. You became our mechanic as well, so you can we can get rid of traps. So let's have a look at the abilities. Defender. The fighter adopts a more conservative combat strategy, concentrating on locking down enemies that stray too close. The fighter increases his or her number of engagement targets to 3, but at the expense of deflection. Confident aim. Steadies the fighter's arm, causing a percentage of their grazes to be converted to hits and increasing the minimum damage for melee weapons. Disciplined Barrage. The fighter intensely focuses on his or her training, significantly raising accuracy for a short time. And then Guardian Stance. The fighter devotes all of his or her energy to defending allies, lowering accuracy by increasing the deflection of nearby allies. I think we'll have someone who pulls the enemies and someone who stops our other guys from dying. There we go.
Hey.
Yeah, so it
Say
looks
the
like,
word.
Yeah, it looks like everyone can get the bonus then. So let's have a quick loot at this place. You never know what goods you'll find in a useless house. Bottle of it's half empty. I mean, if it's half empty, doesn't that mean that's half useful? No, so there's nothing else in here. Let's get ourselves out and get going. Alright. The Windmill is the last place we need to go visit. That's on the map. The game doesn't suggest visiting, but it has a little marker, which means there's probably a reason to go visit it. See? We know there's more grain in there, Trumbull. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat on our crops. A muffled shouting emerged from inside the mill. The first you drunkards come through that door get shot between the eyes. God hear me. Swinyer, I'll put you down like a dog. Come away for now, lads, but we'll be back, Trumbull. And we'll have fair prices. Or by the flame, we'll have a reckoning.
Yeah.
Okay, first things first, let's have a little look around. We don't want to we don't want to miss anything. We could do the other side when we get out, so let's go in there. An elven man stands before you. His relatively stocky build suggests a life of labour. His face is pale and drawn, and his eyes wide. Behind him, a younger man and woman exchange worried glances. The miller raises a club as you enter. It shakes violently in his grip. Get back, if you value life. Hold on, I'm not here to hurt anyone. The miller hesitates and lowers his club. Wait, I know you. You just came into town, right? Don't tell me Swinny already got his claws into you. Gods, that's all I need. What was that ruckus out? Actually, no, yeah, I'm going to say, my name is Aldwyn. I've only just arrived in the Gilded Vale. Trumbull shakes his head. You picked a bad time to come visiting. Gilded Vale's had all of its shine scraped off. It's a big dung heap now, and Swinny thinks he's king of it. They're all of mad. They are all of them mad. Wait, they are all of them mad. Isn't that meant to be all of them? They are all mad. Please, someone. I think it's me, but it doesn't matter. Who's Swinyer? The dwarf, the one standing out there spreading lies among the villagers. Bastard's been here for decades, and he hasn't gotten any kinder with time. The miller hesitates and lowers the club a fraction. Who are you? Is Swinyer roping foreigners into this little crusade now? What was all that ruckus outside? Trumbull shakes his head. Where to begin? Swinier's whipped them up into a fourth, going on about the grain stores. Claims I've hidden away most of it. All I do with the grain is sell it. I can't create it out of thin air, and I can't hand it out for free. I pay the farmers for the crops, they bring it in, and I sell what comes out of the mill. Most of it goes to the Black Hound on the west side of town for ale, and Swinyer and his lot sure don't mind that part. You take a look at the fields onto the way of town. The crop's blighted, and most of what I'm getting from farmers. Most of what I'm getting from farmers. Why is that a question mark? Trumbull gestures to the sacks containing containers. It's gone off. Rotted through. I can't pay top prices for blighted wheat, and I've barely got enough grain to go around. Swinner's howling after things he has no right to. Sounds like a pretty clean story for a messy situation. Trumbull frowns. It's not. He pauses. Look, Swinier's always been a rotten bastard. With stores so limited, maybe I have saved the good stuff for people who deserve it. Arufa, for instance. She's expecting a child. Should I let her starve instead? Maybe I ought to have a talk with Swinyer then. The miller all but sags with relief. I'd be grateful if you did. He won't listen to me anymore, but maybe you'll have better luck. Tell him we're all having a hard time of it, and we all need to make some sacrifices. We'll all need to make some sacrifices. We'll be in your debt for it, if you can convince him.
Yeah.
So it would be robbing. God damn it. Why do I go places where everything is considered fucking robbing? Alright, we'll go find Swinyer's lot after we've had a quick look over here. You never know what you could find. Okay, nothing, yeah. It's kind of what I expected, but hey, I had to look anyway. So first things first, we'll quickly go look over here, and then we'll find our way to Swinyer and that. Yeah, just a villager, no one important. Ooh, some more people to find out the history of. Let's do it. You see a pair of immaculately polished leather boots and an impeccably maintained goatee. Their owner, a slightly hook-nosed man with a wicked grin and narrow eyes. He bobs his feathered hat at a nearby merchant as he ambles by, a small piece of parchment held tight in his fist, ink staining his fair fingers. He seems to know most of the merchants in the market, stopping to engage some, nodding at others, and even bartering for minor goods of a select few. Always smiling, laughing, and exchanging jibes. He approaches a heavy-set Omura, smiles plastered off stiff across his face, and jokes about the weather. She jokes back, subtly palming him several gold coins. When he walks away, the paper in his hand is gone, and the smile on his face is far more genuine. He tips his cap at her, winking, and trundles off with a new spring in his step. You see a large crowd gathered in the middle of the courtyard. This man stands in the midst of them, a cloak pulled over his head, holding it closed around his neck. The crowd has congregated around a platform, and they all watch. They all watch, transfixed as the man is led to the platform, flanked by 2 city guardsmen. The man is shackled hand and foot, but carries himself as a nobleman, not deigning to even glance at the crowd. The cloaked man pulls his coat of cover closer around his face and turns to leave, hunching over to avoid being seen. A crier on the platform rolls a parchment and begins to read, but the man pays no attention, intent on getting away from the courtyard. The crier's voice grows louder and more intense as he reads, and voice from the crowd start to punctuate his sentences. The jeers and shouts grow more frequent, and with each one, the cloaked man flinches and his shoulder drops. He breaks from the crowd, coming to the edge of the courtyard as the crier reaches the end of his proclamation. The crowd grows silent again, save for the occasional shout. The man turns his back to look at the platform, seeing his father kneeling before the block, neck exposed. The executioner moves into position, lifting his axe to strike. The man turns suddenly, unable to watch. There is a wet thunk, and the crowd breaks into jeers and applause. He leans against the wall, regaining his composure, then straightening up. With obvious resolve, he strides off, away from the crowd and his legacy. It's kind of hard. I mean, he doesn't really have a legacy. He's a fire person. He's like me. No children for him. Poor bastard. Hey, look, some chew. I don't really know what chew is, but hey, we'll take it anyway. Alright, so let's see what that pesky dwarf is. Yes, we've looked everywhere but Afura's house. Actually, we'll go see her first. She might know something. She might be able to tell us something that we wouldn't have otherwise known if we hadn't gone to her. Perhaps this is where the specific people are. Oh, sweet. 2 more people to read. Let's go for you first. You see a lone man standing in a field. He looks around, surveying the crops. Occasionally, he bends to examine a leaf up close. He's intent on what he is doing, completely absorbed in his work. The man approaches him from behind. He moves slowly, but does nothing to mask his approach. In his hand, he holds a large sword. There appears to be no malice or hatred in the man's demeanor. He almost seems pleased. The first man hears his approach and stands, turning away from the plant he was inspecting. His face breaks into a smile and he opens his arms to welcome the approaching man. The smile freezes into a grimace as the second man thrusts his sword through his stomach, its blade now protruding from his back. His arms slowly fall to his side and blood starts to drip from the sword onto the plant below the man. As the first man crumples to his knees, the second pulls the sword out, a tear slowly falling down his cheek of his still smiling face. You see a small group of people gathered around the ruins of a house. The destruction contains out from a single dwelling through the entire village. Not a single building still stands. Rubble is scattered everywhere. One of the men in the group leans over something in the debris. It is this man, younger, barely more than a boy. The man reaches out and shakes the boy by the hand. The boy makes no sound and doesn't respond to the man's disturbance. The man looks up at other members of the group and shrugs, standing to rejoin his friends. The boy suddenly sits up, eyes wide. He scrambles backwards away from the group, looking around in horror. The group moves towards him in unison, eliciting a yelp from the boy who tries to move further away. A woman in the group puts out her hand, stopping the rest. She turns to them reproachfully, motions for them to stay, then looks at the boy on the ground, who is trying to push himself through what remains of a wall. He seems unaware he has even stopped. The woman slowly moves towards the boy, hands out, speaking in a low, calming tone. For a time, the boy doesn't even hear. He just closes his eyes and braces himself against the wall, expecting violence. Eventually, the woman's words work through the fear, and he hears her. He opens his tear-filled eyes and stares at her. She holds out a hand to him. He looks to it, seemingly confused by the offer, then hesitantly reaches out. She takes his hand in hers and leans down to help him stand.
Huh?
Well, that was nice. Let's go see this pregnant lady. Okay, it's stealing. Fine. A deerwood woman is standing in front of a fireplace, humming a quiet tune to herself, or perhaps to her unborn child, for she is clearly quite pregnant. She turns her head slightly as you enter.
Good day, stranger.
Well, finally, I was starting to think. The woman makes a startled noise once she turns around and sees you. Oh, I'm sorry. I was expecting someone else. She gives you a cautious smile. Can I help you? I just arrived in Gilded Vale. Thought I'd get to know the locals. Were you with one of the caravans? She looks at you hopefully. Master Odemus by chance? I was, yes, but I'm afraid the rest of the caravan was killed. After covers her mouth with her hand, eyes wide with horror. For a few moments she can manage nothing but a strangled, voiceless gasping. Her eyes brim with tears. I knew it. I told her it was a dangerous path to take. Casilla was always so certain she could take on any danger. Afura sniffed. Oh, my poor sister. I'm sorry, stranger. I can't believe she's gone. If only I hadn't called her here. If I hadn't written to her, she might still be alive. Somewhere. Afura's face crumples, and a solitary tear slides down her cheek. Casilla mentioned that she thought you needed help. Perhaps I can provide the assistant? Afura looks at you with some surprise before dabbing her at her nose with a sleeve. That's kind of you to offer, but I don't know if I could impose on you like that. It's not a small favour. Afura wipes at her eyes. I'm worried about the baby, about the legacy. I'm told Casilla as much as I could, but all I know is that for a long time now, every child born in the Gale of Velvet has been soulless, empty. It happened to so many mothers, and Lord Radric, he's exiled of all of them. Calling it a sign of the gods' disfavour, she sniffs. With my hut gone, I don't know how I'd manage if I lost my home too. I'd hoped Casilla could help me. They say Ranga, the old midwife, knows a way to prevent child being hollowborn, but she moved south to Anslog's Compass 2 seasons ago. The journey's too far for me. I can't make it as I am, but I don't know anyone else. Now with Casilla gone, more tears run down her face. Please, can you help me? I'll find Ranga for you. Afura blinks, eyes wide. You will? Oh, gods bless you. Here. I'll give you some coin to pay her with. You needn't trouble yourself with that. I think it's a drink she's fashioned out of... Well, I'm not sure, but it shouldn't be too much of a burn to carry back. Anslog Compass is what we call the lagoon to the south. You'll have to cross the wilds to get there. That's what keeps me from trying it myself. She clasped her hands together. Thank you again, truly. You'll be saving us both. She sets a hand on her stomach, smiling through her tears. Well, technically I should have remembered her, but it's been quite a while since I recorded part 1. And yeah, I actually have no excuse. I really should have remembered her. That's just my bad. Right, let's see if we can find these good-for-nothing dickheads. Ale doesn't taste funny. Ale tastes nice. But let's see if they went in the Black Hound. Mostly because I actually don't know where they could have gone, so I'm assuming the Black Hound would be the most logical place for them to have fucked off to. Doesn't look like they're in here. Let's go check upstairs. There's certainly more of us than them, so I mean we should be fine. We have a pig as well. I mean, come on. Look at this. We have a weaponized pig that is definitely not weapon. Oh yeah, we also got the deflection, ring of deflection. I'm gonna give that to one of these two. She has less health. Actually, no, she don't. She now has more health than him. Holy shit. No, they're carousers. It's not them. Pretty sure we went out that door before. That was the door to the exit. Yeah. They could be in the temple ruins. I mean, that's someplace they could be. Yeah, I was kind of expecting them to be in there. Yeah, we'll check the temple ruins first. It's probably the safest. Not inside, but outside. No, they're not stood around here. Oh, we haven't actually seen this guy. So let's so Fiel Fenyon. You see a pennant waving tall and sluggish in the wind, a rising sun embroidered on the banner, the vanguard of a small troop of paladins. The atmosphere is buoyant, if restrained, and their armour has not been tarnished by the elements. This expedition is fresh, young, filled with zest and zeal. I think I have read this one, but we'll read it. I'll finish it anyway. At the hands of the hesitant commander, awkward in full armour but determined in step. Despite the excitement of his fellows, he does not smile. There's a twist to his mouth, his countenance grim. He throws up a hand, halting his troops. Silence falls among them, revealing a dark thunder deep and low. He orders them to ready their weapons and spread out. Eyes dart from horizon to horizon, necks twisting to see the source of the sound. In the distance, dust and lightning rise from the ground as a Stygian cloud races towards them overhead. Yeah, we've read this one before. I'm not even going to bother. Once I got far enough in, I realised we definitely read that. Okay, so where do I talk to these people? I was in the bloody inn. He wasn't in there. I should go to the upstairs. He must be upstairs. I must just not have done a good job looking. We'll find it. Oh, we'll find them. Alright, let's see what's in here. See, that's just an inn guest. Ooh, wait, that's locked. Let's see if I can open it.
This won't stop me for long.
There, done.
It's technically robbing. Okay.
Ready when you are. Not a problem.
Let's let him be... Apparently right there is where he won't be found.
Aye? Ready when you are.
Let's go for the yellow. Yep, there we go.
Not a problem.
I was never in there, mate. I don't know what you're on about. You said game said likely to be in the inn. I think it's lying to me. It's not the carousers, so how the hell I've lost a dwarf and 2 people, I don't know. The dwarf, I know, like, it's understandable how you could lose. Dwarfs are small. There they are.
Hail and well met.
Don't know who you are, and don't much care. Keep walking. We're not here to talk chat with foreigners. Olaf narrows his eyes. Careful. Looks like they're cut from the same cloth as those rowdies who attacked me. He wrinkles his nose. Smells like it too. Trumbull said he'd been threatening his family. Oh, I bet he has. All nobility, that Trumbull. 2 big, strong kids. Purest soul in all of Gilded Vale, the dwarf sneers. Crowd sending out messengers to handle his business. Well, you can go and tell him we haven't had a solid meal in days on account of him. We can't afford a drink on account of him. But we won't be bullied by some foreigner on that account. If you want to fight with Trumbull, let's make it a fair one. Hey, hold on there. Sweeney raises his hand defensively, eyes big. No need to get nasty. We won't go near the miller. Blazes, we haven't done a thing to him. We're just hungry is all, and looks like that isn't changing. You want to side with the wrong bastard, you go right ahead. You and this whole fucking town. I feel like we may be on the wrong side of history. But then again, I think Aldwyn is that kind of person. He's very open, but he's very quick to be defensive, or to not quick to violence. But he doesn't like it when someone threatens someone he thinks is doing in the right. So we're gonna be seeing Aldwyn on the wrong side of conversations probably quite often. Mostly because he's just a nice person at heart, which is just being a good person is never smart. I think the next time we level up is I'm going to get that increased focus. So I always start with 20 focus so I can do my second level spells from the level 1, at the beginning of combat. Because that would really give us some good crowd control, which is what I'm going to try and build my character to be.
Good day, stranger.
Trumbull nods a curt greeting. You're back. Have you any luck with Swinya? I spoke to Swinya. And what did he say? I convinced him to leave you and your family in peace. Why? That's great news. I wasn't sure you'd get through to him. They're out of their minds with drink half the time. Are you your great debt? Here, he pulls a coin purse from his hip and pushes it towards you. Today's earnings to show my appreciation. And you can be sure I'll let anyone know what you've done for me. You know, I'm just going to say glad to help. Now you stand a chance of getting through the year, Trumbull smiles broadly. All thanks to you. Safe travels, friend. No clue if we were on the wrong side of history there, but we did good, I think. We did good. And fortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we are actually going to have to end this part here. If you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next part. See you guys then.